Welcome back to the explainer for Module M08. Today, we're unpacking something absolutely crucial for C2 mastery. We're talking about coreference and implicit cohesion. Let's jump right in. Okay, let's dive into this with a striking real-world example. Look at this corporate statement. The government introduced a controversial fiscal policy. Such measures, if implemented rapidly, will redefine the economic landscape. Notice how beautifully that second sentence connects? There's literally no clunky linking word here. We completely bypass basic connectors like therefore or so. Instead, the phrase such measures does all the heavy lifting. It's like magic. This is how implicit cohesion works, completely invisibly. So what's actually happening under the hood here? Coreference and implicit cohesion are precise syntactic mechanisms. They include things like anaphora, which is just referring backward in your text, and cataphora, which means referring forward. We also use substitution and really elegant lexical chains. These tools link your ideas implicitly across sentences, and they do it without those repetitive explicit connectors. Now, to establish absolute authority here, we ground this in established linguistic frameworks. Quirk and colleagues' comprehensive grammar of the English language, alongside Swan's practical English usage, define this perfectly. At a true C2 level, you guide your reader's understanding using these sophisticated, invisible chains of reference. Let's move on to our first worked example. This one focuses on a formal academic context. The initial trial yielded inconclusive data. The former must be completely discarded before subsequent analysis can begin. Just look at the precise use of the former and the phrase subsequent analysis. These terms create this necessary academic distancing in writing. You're managing a complex logical flow so effortlessly without leaning on basic conjunctions like and. It sounds incredibly objective, measured, and highly authoritative. Now, the dynamic shifts significantly in a corporate context. We are drastically restructuring the logistics pipeline. This systemic overhaul is projected to reduce quarterly overhead by 15%. And this brilliantly illustrates how powerful a lexical chain is. We move smoothly from the verb restructuring straight to the noun phrase this systemic overhaul. This trick instantly elevates your executive tone. It projects absolute command in a high-stakes environment. But what about a sophisticated spoken context? They demanded an immediate freeze on all hiring. I refuse to do so, as such a move would cripple our expansion. This right here is highly diplomatic disagreement in spoken English. The substitution do so saves us from repeating the demand. Then, the phrase such a move categorizes their action. You're making sure your colleague feels heard, but you still deliver a definitive, sharp critique without causing any messy interpersonal friction. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the contrast. We absolutely have to address this frequent C1 level trap. Listen to this clunky, overly explicit first attempt. The committee delayed the report. This caused issues. Furthermore, it frustrated the board. Ouch. That's a classic overuse of explicit connectors, mixed with some highly ambiguous pronoun reference. Like, what exactly do this or it even refer to? Now contrast that with the structurally superior C2 approach. The committee delayed the report. This sudden postponement frustrated the board. Instead of generic pronouns, we use an elegant lexical chain. This sudden postponement locks in an undeniable logical progression. So the crucial point is strict register awareness. The Cambridge English CPE guidelines highly emphasize this. You've got to know exactly when to unleash these tools. Use them for maximum impact in elegant professional prose. They are absolutely perfect for high-level reporting and presentations. However, you must avoid them completely in one specific scenario. Never use implicit reference in legal contracts. Avoid them when absolute, transparent accountability is required. In legal texts, explicit naming isn't just nice, it's mandatory. And that brings us to the end of our explainer. Here is your golden rule for Module M08. True C2 mastery relies on implicit reference chains, not explicit repetitive connectors. So, the next time you draft a high-level report, ask yourself, are your words merely connecting simple sentences together, or are you actively controlling the narrative invisibly? Now, please proceed directly to the Module M08 interactive quiz. Go test your absolute mastery of these advanced structures today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.